The Biden administration announced a new arms package for Ukraine on Wednesday that signaled what officials said could be a final shipment of U.S. stockpiles if Congress does not approve new funding for Kyiv's war against Russia. The $250 million package, which includes Arrow-Rite artillery shells, air defense equipment, anti-aircraft and anti-tank missiles and small arms ammunition, comes at a precarious time for Ukraine, which faces a resilient enemy whose chief is not certain to get help in the short term. Military supporter. The announcement likewise underscores President Biden's failure to convince congressional skeptics that America's interests lie in ensuring that Moscow cannot prevail in war. While Biden and his advisors have promised that Washington will support Kyiv as long as it takes against Russia, which has occupied about a fifth Ukraine after nearly 2 years of war, the future U.S. aid is increasingly in doubt. Since President Vladimir Putin's February 2022 invasion, the United States has committed $44 billion in security assistance, including vehicles, air defense systems, missiles and projectiles. Some of this aid came in the form of donations from U.S. arsenals, while other funds went to supply new weapons that had to be produced in American factories, a process that could take several years. Administration officials have suggested in recent weeks that this weapons package, known as a drip from Pentagon inventories, is the last they can do with available funds, trying to take advantage of what they describe as a difficult funding situation to force Congress approve it. Biden's request for an additional $60 billion related to the war in Ukraine. Officials say the president's emergency request, which includes funds for Israel to use in its war against Hamas militants and other national security priorities, would provide Kyiv with a needed lifeline after a 2023 counteroffensive that has failed to change what Ukrainian officials now acknowledge: a battlefield stalemate. Pentagon spokesman Lt. Col. Garen Garn's administration had $4.2 billion left in its congressionally authorized withdrawal authority, but that the Pentagon used funds to replenish U.S. stockpiles following such donations. Now that replenishment funds are insufficient to authorize withdrawals, we will carefully evaluate the consequences and ensure that decisions are consistent with broader strategic objectives, Garn said in a statement. Without additional funding, there will be a shortfall in replenishing U.S. military stockpiles, which will impact America's military readiness. Garn also said that there are no funds left to order new factories to Ukraine. Biden's additional request would authorize administration for an additional $7 billion in arms donations will be provided. Garn did not say whether administration intends to make additional donations to Ukraine, despite the lack of reinforcement funds. While White House officials hope to have proposal approved by N.